Are you looking for a podcast where you can hear from real people regarding their real dental drama? If so, then you've come to the right place. Join hosts Bethany Petty and Dr. Rena Kuba as we dive into the solutions we've created and the mistakes we've made while managing dental drama. Let's get started. Hello, Managing Dental Drama community, and happy Monday to you. Dr. Kuba and I have some great content slated for you today, but before we jump into that, I wanted to give you guys some encouragement. You've got to go and register for our Leadership Summit. It is on Friday, September 18th from 8:30 to 4:30. It is here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, actually in the Colony. And it is a phenomenal all-day seminar packed full of content to help you and key team members become better leaders in your practice. And so don't wait any longer. Click in the show notes today and go sign up for that course. You're not going to want to miss that. Also, we have our May content that is still available. If you are a subscriber, or if you are not yet a subscriber, you should become one. It is an inexpensive way to get really great content this month on managing protection for your practice, just doing everything possible to safeguard it, including diving into medical emergency training and things like that. So go and subscribe today so that you can get that content. And then the last reminder is, don't forget that we've got our hub. The hub is something that we've created to have all these downloadable documents and training resources to help you have the content you need for your team. So again, in the show notes, you can click on the hub and go and check out all of our content that we have available. Now, before I switch gears into today's topic, I do want to let you know that this topic today is in so many ways a continuation of last week's content. So I would encourage you, if you haven't listened to last week's episode yet on Money Matters, go and do so first and then come back and listen to this topic today on sabotaging your practice. And listen closely, lots of good content. Have a great rest of the week.
Hey friends, so as we were wrapping up the episode that we talked about the money matters and the saboteurs, and Bethany and I kind of kept talking about after we quit recording, and we thought this would make great, not footage, great content.
It adds an exclamation point to, I think, what we were already talking about, because there's multiple ways that team members can unintentionally sabotage the practice. And we were like, oh, we ran out of time to talk about this. Yes. So we just did this little addendum.
Yes. Okay. So, and I think for me, if I was sitting there and going, do I have a saboteur? How am I, what does that mean exactly? And I know we talked some about that in the other episode, but I think these other examples we have are going to even more things that maybe haven't occurred to you, but like we've seen live and going, okay, this could be a pervasive problem, even if it's not true. Maybe you've got great collections people and that's not your problem, but so here's an example. Can I just dive in?
Do it.
Okay, so we get Scheduling Institute comes into our office once a year and does their phone training, and I always think, man, why am I paying for this again? Is my team going to be like, oh gosh, we've already talked about this, it's the same training. I tell you, we glean something every time they're there that makes us better, that somebody didn't get the first 2 times they had the training and now they're getting it. Maybe their role changed a little bit. Now they're like, oh, I get it. Now I am the one answering the phone some, or whatever it is, right? So we're still going to continue to do it because we gain our ROI and make improvements every time. But one of the things they do is they cold call competitors. And one of the calls that they made, so I said, yes, call this practice down the street. So the trainer called that practice and she's like, okay, what is the scenario? Like, who am I and what are we doing? So we were like, well, say your kid's 8 years old and in pain, they have a toothache and whatever. So she's like, okay. So she calls our competitor down the street, and I'm not joking, y'all, when I say this literally happened. She calls, the lady who answers the phone was like, hello, Dr. XYZ, whatever their name is. And, how can I help you? And the trainer was like, I'm new to town and we're trying to find a dentist, and my kid has a toothache, so I really need to get my kid in because their tooth has been hurting. And the person on the other end, the receptionist who picked up the phone, says, oh, well, we can get you in, but honestly, to fix whatever the problem is, we don't have an appointment for that until June. And mind you, this was in April. And all of us listening to this call, our jaws dropped because we were like, and my heart is beating going, oh, for the love of God, please, if any of my team members have ever done that, hopefully they're seeing now how awful that sounds. And I think even the trainer was just kind of her eyes got big, and we're all not making eye contact because we didn't want to bust out laughing while we're on this call, guffawing, gasping, whatever the reaction was. And so the trainer was like, oh, so you wouldn't be able to help my kid till June? Yeah, no, we don't have any treatment appointments until June. Oh, okay. Okay then, thanks. And we hung up. Gosh. And so on multiple levels, where I'm first of all, from my viewpoint of going, you didn't even ask or say, I'm so sorry your kid's hurting, or gosh, that's terrible to hear, or, whatever. The first answer was, oh, you can come in, but we wouldn't be able to help you until June. For 2 months, we have nothing to help your kid.
Yeah.
So I'm that's a problem in so many other ways too. Consulting I've learned a lot from you going, oh my God. But from my side going, I know what we spend in marketing to get the phone to ring. The phone rang. Somebody saw our ad or got word of mouth and called us.
Yeah.
Wanting to schedule in our practice. And we basically said, don't come here.
Right.
We can't help you.
Right.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they truly didn't have an opening till June. Is the doctor on sabbatical for 2 months and got nobody to cover? What is happening? But that receptionist, you don't even know what the problem was. Maybe the kid had a canker sore and you lost this patient because you assumed that it was something that they would need help with, that they couldn't be treated. I was dumbfounded. I was like, oh my God. And then me going, oh my God, I hope that's not my team that's doing that.
Yeah.
So how can we, I'm sure everybody listening right now is going, oh my God.
Yeah.
What do we?
And the first thing when you shared that example with me is I guarantee you that practice owner does not know that the phone was answered that way. And it's jaw-dropping to go, really? Somebody would say that over the phone? I can't tell you how many times I hear a new patient essentially be turned away because of the receptionist at the front.
Well, and what we see or hear a lot of is, hello, thank you for calling Kuba's office. Do you take DHMO, MetLife? No, we don't. Okay. Do you know who does? Yeah, Dr. Smith's office down the street takes DHMOs. Why don't you try calling them? What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That is not okay. And I won't go into deep dive into right now. Maybe we do another episode for that. Or how do you? I know a lot of people are going, but we don't take DHMOs. We can't help that patient. Yeah, you can.
Yes.
And so how do you recoup that? How do you train your team to try to recoup? Does that mean every DHMO patient's going to come to you? No. But could you get some of them that are going to see the value in your practice and why they should spend the money out of pocket? So just even things like that we tend to see where your untrained team is saying stuff that is pushing people out the door and you don't even know it.
Right.
So this goes back to what we said in the other episode. Please listen.
Yes.
Listen to what your team is saying. Go back and listen to those calls. That is vital to know what is being said.
And help your team strategize. How do we navigate that phone call? If we truly do not have any availability until June, first of all, what are we doing to try to solve that problem? But secondly, how do we answer the phone in that case? Because I'm sure sweet Susie, whoever this was that answered the phone, probably thought she was trying to help this parent because, heaven forbid, their kid be in pain for 2 months. She probably thought, oh, the poor child, you need to call somewhere else. That is likely what she was thinking. But ultimately, there's got to be a better solution to that does not involve turning a patient away that has called your practice. So we got to strategize on this because this is absolutely sabotaging the practice. Most practices, and I would say 99% of them, need a steady flow of new patients. And so if we're unintentionally turning new patients away, we are therefore sabotaging the practice.
My guess is if you're listening to this podcast right now, you are interested in growing your practice, and awareness is the number one thing you can be doing right now to go, God bless what is being said on the phones. Even if you have templates and you have all of that, like, these things pop up, and if we haven't recognized it, talked about it, trained on it, who knows what your front is saying with all of these random things that pop up. And if you're not doing your due diligence to pay attention to this, you are turning away patients without realizing it. And it's gut-wrenching.
Absolutely.
When you realize that's happening in your own practice, or you find out. I mean, even for me, the competitor down the street, my heart goes out to her. I'm like, oh my God, you have no idea, I'm sure, that your practice receptionist is saying that.
No. And if that's the case, if that's truly how y'all want to strategize it, which again, from a consulting standpoint, I'd caution you against that, turn off all marketing then. Do not pay to have your phone answered like that. Turn it all off. Don't waste the money then if you're going to just intentionally or unintentionally turn new patients away. We also talked about another way that team members might be sabotaging, and that is not being diligent about patient retention. We've talked about that a lot on the podcast, but this to me is an area where I see team members, we have a system in place for what our expectation is to keep that patient in our care, and then we don't follow through with that system for whatever reason. We get busy, we think it's not important. And so a patient, like let's say in your practice, when a patient leaves, our expectation is when they are leaving the practice, they are scheduling at a minimum their next hygiene visit. And if they need treatment, our attempt is to also schedule treatment as well. I can't tell you how many times I'm in a practice where the sweet Sally at the front is attempting to schedule, but she may ask it in a way that's like, well, let's see, little Johnny's going to be due back in November for his cleaning. Is that something you want to go ahead and get on the books? Is it truly an option? Because the system is Johnny needs to be pre-booked for November. But if you're saying to the parent, is that something that you want to go ahead and get on the books, then you've got a 50-50 chance that mom says, no, I'll call you closer to time. So that's one system that we may just be sabotaging ourselves by not just following the system of everybody leaves with an appointment. But then to make matters worse, what I see quite a bit is if Johnny's mom left the practice without pre-scheduling, then we are not following up with Johnny's mom as his appointment time or his recall time approaches. We're not following up. And therefore, we are losing that patient.
Now, what do you say to the people that are like, oh, well, our system will flag us when they're due or overdue? What is your response to that?
That makes me very nervous to rely on some system or some flag or some task or however I'll have it arranged to remind. To me, yes, I'm glad you have that, but that should never be our be-all, end-all solution. We should also be pulling the appropriate reports or going back and looking for those people that have slipped through the cracks. But I don't see a lot of teams doing that, which means then we are sabotaging the practice, because ultimately if we're turning new patients away over the phone, like the example you just shared, and then also we are not doing a diligent job of retaining our patients or pursuing those that are not currently retained in our practice, we are literally dwindling those patient numbers.
Which this is where, and I know we've talked about this before, and it's not the scope of this, but something I've heard a lot of is, well, we're busy right now. It's okay if these patients matriculate out. I would say there's probably 1 or 2% of offices that are in that boat where they truly can afford to let patients matriculate out. So if you cannot accommodate them and you're like, it's okay if they come or not, that's going to bite you in the butt at some point. If you are trying to grow, if you're trying to retire, different story. If you're trying to grow your practice, not actively trying to retain every single patient is very costly.
Yeah.
It will come back to bite you. So I think the example you gave, if you don't mind sharing, the one client of yours.
Yes. So in one of the practices that I work with, we went back and audited 6 months ago. I said, let's go to a schedule 6 months ago and let's pick a day to go through. And there were about 13 patients on the schedule on this particular day. And I said, I just want to see How many of those have an appointment? Because again, everybody should have an appointment in the practice. And then if they don't have an appointment, I want to see our follow-up attempts to get them back on the books. And out of the 13 patients that were on the schedule that day, 4 of them had an appointment and 9 of them did not. And out of the 9 that did not have appointments, only 2 of them had been followed up with, or there was proof showing that we had followed up with them. Guys, that is 7 out of 13 that were not retained in the practice, and there was no effort made to retain those.
And we know how much we spend on marketing dollars to get these patients into our offices. And if you're saying, oh, I don't do Google ads, I don't do anything in the community, I don't whatever, well, even your word of mouth, like that's still, you have to tap dance on your head to keep these patients happy, to keep patients coming back to you. Yeah. Unless you're resting on your laurels going, oh, my competitors suck, so I'm the best of the bunch. When is that going to change? So you can't even rest on that. No. Because people will. If yours is mostly word of mouth, but people are calling you and are going, oh, they don't have time to accommodate me, they will find another source. They're like, Absolutely. Well, yeah, this is who came recommended, but I can't ever get in, or it's not convenient to my house. I was driving all the way out there when I could get in. They've gotten busier. They can't accommodate me. They can't be the only show in town. I will seek out another office. Yeah. So that's going to last for only so long as well.
I agree 100%. And again, I think costly is the right word. We don't really evaluate the cost of either not gaining that new patient or losing this current patient. And it absolutely is costly. They will go elsewhere. It's just a matter of time. Even now, as we say this, and you and I didn't talk about this, but I want to add one more that I think is a sabotage, and that is missing the phone call or the contact altogether. It's so common now to have one person at the front that does miss phone calls. She's checking somebody in or checking somebody out, and that phone call goes to voicemail, and then she doesn't get back to those voicemails until the end of the day. Well, if any one of those was either a new patient or one of our patients trying to get scheduled, they are moving on. And we get a lot of online requests now that usually we get notified via email. Sometimes we'll have texting capacity that they've texted the office for an appointment or something like that. And again, the early bird catches the worm. Like if you're going to see that email come through, respond to it immediately. Do not wait until the end of the day or until the next day. They have moved on. I just did this for an appointment that I was trying to get scheduled. Reached out to a place, couldn't get through to them, emailed. Nobody ever emailed me back, not that day. And next day I was calling a different office. So people move on very, very quickly. So I think we unintentionally sabotage by not responding quickly to those missed calls or those missed online contacts.
And if if you're like, well, we're just too busy, I couldn't find another front desk, I just can't get to it right now. I mean, know that maybe that's why you can't get off of insurances, because those patients will come to you because you're the one who takes their insurance, but you'll never get off of it then. Yeah. So it's, again, when you step back and you look at the big picture, these are all little things that have huge impacts. Yeah. Making sure that you're responding timely is a huge impact. Yeah. And people don't have time now to sit and wait for you. Yeah. Who knows what they're, so many people that have like calls all day and they had this window of time to reach out and make an appointment. Yeah. And you missed it. They're going to move on.
They're gone.
Yeah. So I think just reassessing your systems. And I know like the challenge of that is if you do have the one front desk, we're about to be in that boat. Our rock star front desk is going off on maternity and not coming back. And we have not looked to hire and replace, and I don't want to. Right. I'm going to drag my feet as long as I can, but those are things that I need to be mindful of and going, okay, not only are we checking in, checking out, but are we collecting? Are we reappointing? But are we answering our phones quickly? Are we paying attention to all of those things that she was really in charge of doing? And now we are going to be stretched thin at the front, but we've got to figure out who or where to make sure that that doesn't slip through the cracks. I think that's one thing that helps our new patient rate be solid is when you've got the competitor down the street saying, well, we don't have anything till June. You know who she's calling next is me.
Yeah.
And we can get you in that next day. We'll get you in today if you want. Because we've prepped the schedule where we've got those open blocks for that. We've kept space open for things down the road. So paying attention to all of those things. I think the other comment I was going to make when you said how retention falls to the wayside, where, oh, would you like to make this appointment? No, okay, yeah, just call us when you're ready.
Yeah.
That should have been like, do you want to come in? Are you still, like, you came in the morning today in November? Do you want to come in the morning or in the afternoon? Like, you are giving options and you're trying to get them in. It's kind of like when we say, okay, Johnny, do you want to get in the chair and we clean your teeth? No. If Johnny says no, what are you going to do? Yeah. Johnny, we're going to get in the chair. Do you want strawberry or mint, right, for your toothpaste? Like, we're giving choices, but we're giving choices that get us to the result that we want.
That's right.
And we want them to schedule. So that right there, giving that out, messed it up. So even making sure you're not, your team isn't giving an option that's really shouldn't be an option. But then if you're talking about, like, in that office that there were 7 that had 0 follow-up.
Yeah.
And I'm going to stretch out and say, I doubt it's any employee doesn't care. I think they probably do care. They're caring. They're trying to build their practice. They're part of this, newer, younger office, and they're giving it their all. But calling patients to try to get them scheduled is really not a glamorous or fun thing to do. And they know they're probably going to get, like, of the 7, 6 are probably going to go straight to voicemail. So they're like, I would rather do XYZ. And they'll find other tasks to do that are more glamorous, more fun, more seemingly productive. So in our office, it really made all the difference when we had a person.
Yeah.
You are directly the person who your side task is staying on top of retention. Mm-hmm. And once we did that, now it doesn't mean she's the one who makes all the calls and does all of that, right. But she's the one who, when she has downtime and she knows that's her task, she is leaning into her team members and going, hey, what are you doing right now? You don't have a patient. Call as many of these patients as you can. Document where you're doing that. And then we've got our system of going, okay, we're calling first. Next, we're going to send an email. Next, we're going to send right? Like, we've got our system of how we're trying different methods to get that patient to respond, so that they will either respond either way, to go, sorry, we're not coming to your office anymore. We'd rather wait till June because she takes my insurance. My kid can be in pain that long. Or we're actively trying to say, how can we get you back in? So until we're told that you do not want to come back and see us, we're going to continue to try to reach out to you.
That's right.
So I think that would be my tip, is making sure you've got a directly responsible individual from last month's podcast that you're making sure you're assigning that.
Yes. I think that's such a key takeaway on this, is all of these really ultimately can be solved if we've got somebody that is responsible for evaluating that category and ensuring that we're not unintentionally sabotaging ourselves in it. Gosh, we had a lot to say on that, didn't we?
We did.
Yes. So go do something with it. Go figure it out.
This is a lot more like, where for me, especially for our subscribers, this is a higher level of thinking and functioning. I think a lot of practice owners don't even touch it. It's uncomfortable. They're too busy. They feel drowned. They feel like they just want to bury their heads. But these are, again, extra things that for all the time, effort, and money you're spending to work smarter, is making sure you're not sabotaging yourself.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining the conversation today. We hope that you are comforted in knowing that you are not alone, but we also hope that you're walking away with some really great tips and tricks to try in your practice. We value your feedback, so please take a few moments to rate and review the podcast. Finally, we want to make sure that we're covering the topics that matter to you. So track us down on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and let us know what topics you want us to cover. As always, please know that we are rooting for you today as you manage your dental drama.